favorite hockey team will be back at practice a little bit later this morning up in Cranberry. After a couple more practices, things get really busy. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Back from Sweden, 3 straight practices, and then Friday night, there will be a game at PPG Paints Arena against the Wild. Another one, same place the next night against the Kraken. And those 2 games are included in a remarkable stretch in which the Penguins will play 17 times in 33 days, carrying them into the NHL's Christmas break. I'm going to say that again for dramatic effect. 17 times in 33 days. They'll be lacing them up in anger. That, my friends, is a lot of men's ice hockey. And the load, for the record, doesn't exactly lighten up after that. There will be, and you're going to think I'm making this up, but you can go look for yourself, 15 games that they're playing in the month of January. 15. There's a game every other day. It's almost like baseball. And the reasons for that, I would hope, would be obvious, is the combination of the NHL going back to the Olympics. That's in February in Milan, Italy. That'll shut down the league for close to 3 weeks. And what just happened? The Penguins and Predators going over to Sweden and just playing those 2 games in an 11-day span. But all the rest of the regular season still had to be squeezed somewhere into the 6 calendar months. And this is the result. This is what happened. And this could be, maybe more than any other stretch, what determines which direction this thing will go for the Penguins. Now, it's nice that they've added some youth, but the youth still don't exactly dominate the scene. They're probably about 2 or 3 Ben Kindles and Harrison Brunicks away from the youth being something that you can say, well, they're younger, they'll have more energy, they'll rebound faster. No, the best players, the 3 best players on this team to this stage of the season have been Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Erik Karlsson. Don't make me recite their ages for you. Will it help when some of the injured players return? Of course, yeah. I mean, Rickard Rakell's going to be a fresh guy by the time he's back. That's not soon. Justin Berzeau is going to make a difference. Tristan Jarry could make a significant difference the way he was playing. And along the way, if you get some other players earn, and I do mean earn, their way up from Wilkes-Barre, whether it's a Tristan Brose, who's an energy guy anyway, or Owen Pickering can figure some things out, Sam Poulin, Avery Hayes, you can infuse some of that, but the reality, in all likelihood, is going to be the reality, which is that this team is going to be really tested, and because of its strengths, because of its core still being so vital to what they do, you're going to need a ton of electricity, really, under and around them. You're going to need a supporting cast that contributes kind of like they were in the earlier part of this schedule. You're going to need a whole bunch of Blake Lizotte. And I'm going to throw in one other thing today. And this might not be fair. And that's okay. That's okay. Because you know what else this team could really use that might make the biggest difference of all? How about some bleeping power plays? And by that I mean power play opportunities for the NHL's number 1 actual power play that converts at 34.1%. The Penguins currently average 3 minutes and 39 seconds of ice time with the extra man per game. That is dead last in the league. Now, to an extent, that's because they've been scoring. And if you think about it, that'll make sense. You score earlier than 2 minutes, you're getting less ice time on the power play. Except for this. They're also dead last in power play opportunities. Number of times that they've gone on the power play is 44. Also, way down there at the bottom, even though they, as a hockey team, are 10-5-4 and have the second most regulation wins in the entire league. Now, there are those within the organization, and I have heard from them directly, who believe that Dan Muse is getting picked on because he's a rookie coach. They don't feel like they have to answer to him, and in some cases, they actually don't answer to him, meaning they literally ignore him as he's trying to get their attention. That's not okay. If that's going to take somebody popping off at some level to address, and by that I mean a lot more strenuously than Sid tried to do a few days ago in Newark, then that's what's going to have to happen, because this is going to cost them games. Their main weapon as a hockey team so far this season, with due respect to the goaltending that they've gotten, has been the power play. Even in this last game in Sweden just now, a game that the Penguins controlled pretty much from front to finish and ended up winning 4-0, the Predators got all 4 of the power plays. That's not okay. If it takes diving, start diving. Embarrass the refs, because they're embarrassing you. Just a thought, not going to take it too far, but let's see how this weekend goes. At some point or other, either they or Muse need to start getting treated in closer alignment to the reality that's showing up every day in the NHL standings. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q. By the way, I don't mention this often enough. If you want to leave a J1Q for the show, the place to do that is on our app, meaning the DK Pittsburgh Sports app. And the place to do that within the app is in the comments section that's attached to the most recent Daily Shot of Penguins entry in there. That's where Mark Malvizzi came in. He says, "Hey, DK, I know it's hard to see right now with all the injuries, but what should the Penguins make of the logjam at forward? You got to think Rutger McGroarty's going to earn his way back soon. Justin Brazeau's going to be back on the second line. Ricard Raquel, Noel Acciari back on the fourth. Plus, you have guys like Tristan Brose and Avery Hayes knocking on the door. What's the best game plan for the Penguins in the now and in the future with making room for the kids coming up, but also to maybe maximize trade value on the veterans who aren't part of the long-term plan?" Mark also points out that he's going to be coming in from Northeast Pennsylvania for this weekend's home games against the Wild and Kraken, which will only be acceptable to me if he makes sure that he stops at our headquarters/shop on 5th Avenue downtown. Only an 11-minute walk from our front door to the front door at PPG Paints Arena. The part that I appreciated the most about your question, Mark, is allowing for the variable that you still want to try to get something in a trade for these older players that you would be moving, because that is part of this process. It's not the sexiest or most attractive or most exciting part, but it's part of it. Nobody anywhere got stoked to see Anthony Beauvillier, for example, get traded late last season. Like, who cares, right? Well, but he was moved to the Capitals this past March for a second-round pick. That's a pretty good get for someone that you just collected off the street the previous summer. Basically a tryout guy. That's asset management. That makes your organization stronger, even if it doesn't necessarily win you a hockey game that night. But to answer the actual question, I like the broader approach that's taken by Kyle Dubas and management, that somebody needs to outplay the other guy. That's all. I don't think you have to think about this in advance, kind of the way that you're painting it here, Mark. You don't have to say, what are we going to do with the kids when they show up? What are we going to do with the older guys? What you do is you acquire these players. You acquire a lot of them. You try to hit a couple of oddball home runs. Maybe Beauvillier was one. Maybe Brazeau is another. But you allow for them to happen. You don't pre-dictate it. And the best way to do that is just to reward the player who's performing the best. Here's a small example that shows that it's not always going to be the way it feels right. When you're bringing up Danton Heinen, nobody thinks Heinen's going to be here after this season. No one thinks Heinen's going to be part of any kind of future. The reason that you're bringing Heinen up is that he was one of the legitimately best guys down there. And they know that. The players down there know that. The coaches down there know that. They see that. They see that it's going to be a fair fight. If they believe that it's going to be a fair fight, which those guys themselves will tell you is all that they're looking for, they're going to compete that much harder. They're going to work that much harder toward improving to become that next guy who makes it up. Similarly, and this is negative, but it applies the same way. If you send down Ville Koivunen after his first 2 games were just brutally awful this season, that sends a signal that, hey, there's nobody getting anointed around here. There's no automatics. Just because everybody was talking about Koivunen and McGroarty after the end of last season doesn't mean they're going to get served up here. So again, you open that door in their heads for those players, for everybody to come up, and it sorts itself out. It sorts itself out. That's what these executives will tell you. That individual success will sort out everything without you having to do a thing. Brazeau is 27 years old. Brazeau popped 6 goals in his first handful of games this season. A lot of the league was talking about him in October. Who's to say he can't be part of this? You just adjust to whatever it is that you see. I appreciate the question, Mark. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. If you want to get onto our app and get into our comments section specifically, the comments are part of the premium level, and so is not seeing ads and all kinds of other perks. Download the app, DK Pittsburgh Sports, into your device, Apple or Android. That part's free. After that, email me directly, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. I will hook you up with a massive discount. Believe me, it's eminently affordable for everyone to get you in as a premium member. dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. See everybody tomorrow.